Alright guys, here's part 2, and you're gonna enjoy this one. This is gonna be the good video. If you watch the last one, you'll see that it was meant to be about heavy wheels. The video was meant to be about that, but I got carried away with some footage of weightlifters, and the intro was just getting too long, and so I just left it for part 2, and this is it now. And it's gonna have some physics in it as well, but it's going to be interesting regardless of whether you like the physics or not. And it's funny because I found this really interesting find, so make sure you stick around till the end, because I found something relating to EUCs and Formula 1s that's very interesting. And that's funny because I used a Formula 1 as my thumbnail for the video, so you'll see why Formula 1s are so involved in this video. But make sure you stick around to the end where I show you this Easter egg that I found with all the research I did, you know, looking for footage and whatnot. So let's get into it, guys.
This special car lets us get to emergencies as quickly as possible while a normal ambulance is on the way. The people in these cars are highly trained and will start life-saving treatment as soon as they can. This is a team leader car. A team leader is a senior paramedic who is used to manage large emergencies. Everyone who responds to an emergency will look to them for guidance to ensure that we all stay safe.
In an emergency, always call 000.
The word of the day: low center of gravity. Alright, that's a phrase. But let's continue with this intro. Just look at how stable these things look. Look how fast they're going around these corners. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, look at how low he's getting. It's basically approaching the height of an F1 car, isn't it? And there's a reason why you need to be low in order to be stable, to remain stable throughout the corner, to remain safe, to be able to navigate your vehicle in a reliable manner that you know is not going to throw you off, it's not going to wobble or tip. Because if you're not low, then your mass is up high. And what does that mean? It means it can tip over. Just like, say you've got a bookshelf. Now imagine you've got a really heavy set of books, and you can either put them on the bottom shelf right near the ground, or you can have no books at all, an empty shelf, no weight. Which one is more stable? Which one's going to be easier to tip over? And which one's going to resist tipping over? I mean, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? It's intuitive. But there's a reason, there's a physical reason behind this, and I'll explain this in this video. There's many reasons actually, and it's quite interesting. But man, do I miss the Sherman. When I see these slides, I just want to get back on that wheel, because I know I can't do those same slides with the 16X. I can do similar ones, but it's so much harder. It's a lot to do with the weight of the EUC. And that's what this video is about. When you've got a heavier EUC, the EUC rider system becomes lower in terms of its center of mass or center of gravity. That's something you can't get around. You know, it's like with any vehicle. Just think about electric cars. What's one of the big advantages of an electric car? Like the Teslas when they first came out, they talked a lot about having the batteries at the bottom. So all that weight is down low, and that makes a massive difference in terms of handling. Even though those Teslas are like heavy as a tank, they still handle pretty well because of that alone. If you can have weight down low, it's an advantage. It's huge. And look how low F1 cars are. They're like as low as they can get, basically. And same with those motorbikes, you know, when you see them trying to corner fast, they need to get down really low, you know, in terms of their body position. But also when they lean, the whole system gets even lower, doesn't it? And that's crucial for fast cornering. Alright guys, what I'm about to show you is just how much of a difference a low center of gravity makes. Just how important it really is. Because you might not realize.
Of the Ferrari to get the slipstream as they begin the climb up Radion and along the Kemmel Straight.
Look at these things go. Madness. Look at this thing. Whoa. Look how fast they're going around that corner. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? It's completely mind-blowing. And hang in there, I'm going to show you some really crazy stuff now with these F1 cars in a second. Look at all these cars. Look at the reliability, how reliably they go around these corners. You can't do that if you've got mass up high. You know, the taller the car, the more easily it's going to get knocked over by inertial forces. On the left, we've got some normal type of cars, like Porsches and even some supercars, like you just saw that go past. And they take it pretty fast. But then look at the Formula Ones. I mean, my goodness, what's going on? Is this are they playing a computer game? Are they using cheats or something? They must be using cheats. Look at this, it's insanity. But no guys, this is real. This is the difference it makes. It's night and day. You can't compare them. It's crazy. And why do I talk about this so much? Why do I emphasize this point so much? It's because, what is an EUC? Think about it. I'll answer the question with another question. What is an EUC? It's a little ball of mass that sits right at your feet, right at the ground level. So what's the result of having a heavier EUC? Well, it's going to bring down your center of mass, isn't it? It's the only way to do it, in fact. How else are you going to do that apart from wearing heavy shoes or strapping weights to your ankles or something? It's the only way to do it. You know, and you don't want to wear heavy shoes because that's going to compromise your control. So the only way to move towards what an F1 car has in terms of stability for cornering and straight line speed is to have a heavier wheel. There's no two ways about it. The weight is like gold when it comes to that kind of stability. Cornering and straight line speed, like I said. So it's very important. You know, everyone talks about a light wheel and how great that is, and it is, of course. But then you're missing one of the key elements to what you need to remain safe as well. That's why I showed those ambulance clips at the start, because that's another reason why you want this, because if it's going to keep you safer, it could save your life. I've gone through countless potholes at high speed, like around 60 kilometers an hour, going through big holes that I didn't see. They caught me by surprise and I never fell off. I can't believe I haven't fallen off. And if I was doing that on my 16X, I would be toast. Like, I would have definitely fallen off. And the other thing is I don't have power pads and I don't have grippy pedals. Those are super slippery, those pedals. So it's amazing, isn't it? Like, this thing just keeps you super safe. And if I did have power pads, I would be even safer. One thing I do is set the pedal tilt a little bit back, and that kind of makes up for the lack of power pads and the lack of grippy pedals, because there's less chance of falling off. When you go over the bump, right, you're at a lean angle, so in order to slide off the wheel, there's kind of an angle. You're kind of going uphill, if you know what I mean. Your feet have to go uphill during the slide to slide off the pedal. Whereas if they're flat, then there's no gravitational, like, resistance. Do you know what I mean? The gravity sort of keeps you in place when you set the tilt angle back. I don't understand people put it forward. That's crazy. That's just insane. Because I mean, unless you got power pads, I guess. But without power pads, setting the tilt angle forwards is just asking to be thrown off. Because then you're actually, the gravity could slide you off. You know, if you had slippery enough pedals, you could just slide right off without even doing anything. So yeah, that's one thing.
Of the Ferrari to get the slipstream as they begin the climb up rally on and along the Kemmel Straight, Charles Leclerc.
And again, you can't do that if you've got mass up high. You know, the taller the car, the more easily it's going to get knocked over by inertial forces. Or even wind, for that matter. Just a gust of wind. But definitely inertial forces. When you try to turn a corner, you've got all this mass up high that's creating a torque. It's like a bending force. It's trying to twist you down and knock you down. And if you can be flat and low, it's going to be almost impossible to knock you down, because you're already down, aren't you? Kind of makes sense like that, but the physics shows it. You know, it's just like torque. It's the lever arm. That's what it's got to do with, the lever arm. When you're talking about torque, you're talking about a force applied at a distance, and that distance is the lever arm. The greater that distance, the more torque there's going to be. So the taller your vehicle, like a big truck or a van, the greater the lever arm, the more easily it can get knocked over. Trying to turn too fast around a corner, or just a big gust of wind. You know, so that might conclude today's episode, because I think I've said everything I wanted to say to demonstrate why you want a heavy wheel. And of course there's cons then when you need to carry it. If you need, I never need to, you know, or I might need to lift it just into the car sometimes, very rarely though. But aside from that, it's got a trolley handle, so there's never a reason to carry it unless you need to go upstairs. But even if you do, you can kind of roll it upstairs. But it takes a bit of practice to do it like comfortably, because when you try to do it at first, it just seems seems easier to just lift it, you know. But when you practice that, you can actually roll it up. And yeah, it's not,
I got that on video.
not that bad, but yeah, I guess if you live upstairs.
Oh my gosh, there it is.
That's a big reason to just get a light wheel and then just cruise slowly, I guess. And maybe link up with the train or the bus, because if you've got a small wheel, you can just get in the bus really easily. I can still get in the bus with the Sherman though, or the train, the tram, but you don't need to, which is the beauty. It's a standalone vehicle. You know, it's not even much bigger than your tiny wheels. You know, like, compare my 60 next to my Sherman and it's like just a slight difference in size. Big difference in weight, but it's very slight difference in size. So yeah, it's very compact still and fits anywhere basically. Alright guys, that'll be it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Peace. Alright guys, here's the bonus section. So remember how I told you in the last video I found that interesting footage of that little guy lifting the car by himself? And that's why I got carried away with that video, but just like in that video, in this one I found some even more interesting footage. And this guy you're looking at is a Formula 1 driver, and they say he's the best in history, better than Michael Schumacher.
Thanks, Michael.
And look at this, guys. He rides an EUC. What are the odds? I mean, I doubt they would actually want him to ride to risk getting injured. So I couldn't actually find much footage of this, but that's him on, I'm not sure what wheel that is. What is that? It's a, I think Glide something comes to mind, but I'm not really sure. Doesn't look like a very good wheel. That's funny, isn't it, guys? Because this is like a guy that rides, I mean, he drives these insane cars, you know, and now he's on an EUC, but he's got a crappy wheel. He needs to get on a, you know, on a fast one. Get that adrenaline going. I'm sure he would love it once he rode an actual, you know, a fast one. Because that thing is just cruddy, isn't it? What is that thing? But still, it's pretty cool, isn't it? And he's also vegan. Just like the other guy in the other video, that little guy that was breaking some world record.
With less than 2 weeks remaining, Patrick continued training for his world record attempt to carry more weight than anyone in history.
But this guy is also a I don't know if he's got what record or whatever, but they say he's the best in history at F1. So what are the odds of that? It's pretty weird, isn't it? But that's what you get. And yeah, that'll close today's video. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.